All right, you're on. So we're here with Peter Angel from the UK, who just completed 108 days. This is your second master fast, right, Peter?
It is indeed. Yeah, it is, Gino. Yeah.
What was the amount you did the first one? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was 77 days, I think.
Oh, okay. So you're you're pushing
Like,
deep stuff. Excellent, excellent. So we asked you to join to share your experience because you just finished what, a day or so ago?
literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Finished Thursday and had a finished with and did a colonic on the Friday morning and broke the fast. I broke it on Thursday night and did an enema and yeah, no, it's been a pretty smooth transition. So I'm comfortable. I've been drinking a bit of green juice. I've had some melon, so I'm breaking it gently. Had a little bit of solid food tonight, so yeah.
How does it feel to
Feeling good.
you after all that time?
Yeah. Well, it's strange. I've always adjusted quite easily. I've noticed I've always transitioned quite smoothly and easily from doing fast. I mean, I have, I guess, in the last 5 years, done quite a bit with Dr. Morse. I came across Robert Morse about 5 years ago, so I've dived in quite deeply since then, and been working on myself pretty consistently using herbs. I trained with him as well, so I kind of fairly familiar with the score and what
Yeah.
it does and the healing process, the detox process. So yeah, 108 days is still, it's quite an experience for sure. It's quite an experience, and I'm very much still integrating that experience. To be honest.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting how everybody acts differently depending on their emotion, their life experience. You're very calm, very stable.
Yeah,
You've been at this for a while,
yeah.
but still,
It's
there's
been interesting noticing. Can you hear me all right? Because
yeah.
I think I might have lost you.
It's sometimes we lose a word here and there.
Yeah. It's been very interesting just noticing the difference immediately, practically, between, starting to put a bit more food in my system. It's a very subtle difference, feeling a bit more not grounded in the world already. I've noticed just as we went into town locally, and I just noticed, I was very much in my body, as it were, throughout the process. I had obviously some healing crises as I went along the journey.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's been interesting experiencing that feeling of being a little more present, a little more physical. But it's been quite a subtle experience at the same time. And interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, a few weeks back, you were having some issues with the liver gallbladder area.
Right, I was. Yeah. That would be a good one to share a little bit about, actually. It's definitely, for me, been an area in my body that sort of, I call it the upper right quadrant underneath my rib cage on my right-hand side in the abdominal area of, consistent kind of congestion. I've always had a feeling whenever I fast there, that's the area that kind of becomes the consciousness there.
A
And it's,
challenge.
there's the liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas, all in that kind of your stomach, all in that area. Of course, you've got the large intestine as well, haven't you, up there? So, it's a powerful area. And with the herb business as well, it all kind of, I've just set up the herb business, selling your wonderful herbs in the UK and Europe.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty steep learning curve, no doubt about it. So, and I'd had a pretty stressful time, I think. We'd lost a parcel and the person was going through a little bit of a space. It was meant to get to Bulgaria and it hadn't got there. Anyhow, the details are fairly irrelevant.
Yeah.
But brought on, that little bit of tension in there, a little bit of extra tension. And for the first time never. I had an actual, I didn't know what people meant by a gallbladder attack.
Right.
I certainly do know now. It felt like somebody was practically tying a knot in my intestines in that area. You know,
Wow.
I could breathe into that area. It was very intense pain, tightness, hotness. I tried the champagne drink. I thought that might, which was, you know, the grape juice with bicarb and apple cider vinegar,
Right.
and that didn't release it. And in the end, I contacted my friend Helen Holterman because I knew her husband had some trouble with his gallbladder, and she suggested, of course, the Epsom salts.
Right.
Which I hadn't thought of at the time, because I've done some Andres Moritz liver cleanse way before I even came across Morse. I'd done some cleansing work on my liver because I knew my liver wasn't quite right. I've had it checked out even with an ultrasound. There weren't any stones, but I'd had that checked out a few years before. So I took literally I took just a glass of Epsom salts and had another glass that night, and it practically immediately felt I could feel it literally opening up that area,
And just
and
flow.
it was almost instantaneous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could breathe again, you know, the pain dissolved, and so that's definitely over this 108 days, and there's still more work in there that I can feel. It's still an area, but it's certainly an area that's much freer. I've also been using more colonics. I've done enemas throughout, in the first one and throughout this one. You know, breaking the dry fast that I've done regularly through the process. I've done about 5 colonics through this 108-day thing. So that's been really, really helpful, and I definitely feel it gets much further up and back into my colon. It's cleaned that started to open up that area, and down even lower down into the cecal area as well. And she's done a lot of massage as she's done the colonics, which has really helped.
They only help when you're fasting.
Yeah, really, definitely.
Yeah.
And they're definitely deeper than just doing an enema.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well worth it to do a few while you're doing a fast, but keep those enemas going every day, because it's only going to help you guys.
Yeah. You know, I've had some very cool experiences as well. It's been quite subtle, you definitely, in that refined state. It's been quite because I've had to keep my act pretty together, because I've also been, I have a decorating business that's pretty physical work. I've paced it much better than I've had to pace myself a little bit, because obviously I lost about 14, let's say about 20 pounds in weight, definitely. I was pretty light to start with. I got down, I would say, to about, not much over 100, 110 pounds, somewhere around 110, I would say, and 140, I think. So yeah, so it's been about 30 pounds loss, I would think. But I've never lost my strength. I've always felt strength. I've also, because I've done a lot of yoga has been my act.
Oh yeah. You got to move. You got to keep moving.
So I've taught yoga sort of unofficially, as it were. I was never officially trained, but people invited me to teach because, they knew, because of my own practice. Anyhow, that's another story. But my yoga practice has been a godsend. The breath work. I've done quite a lot of breath work as well. I've explored rebirthing quite a lot over the years too. So I think I've been very conscious of my breathing, and boy, especially when dry, man, does your breath, you realize that first and foremost, that is what is nourishing you. And interestingly, I had a dentist appointment. I had a checkup
dry
on Wednesday. You lie back in the chair, don't you? And they kind of, that lie back in the chair a bit. And as I lay back, so I could really, because that lying back position, I could really feel my chest opening up. And because I was very empty in that abdominal area, you can feel your breath just flowing, and I just felt amazing. And I was breathing away. I don't know what the dentist quite made of it. Checking me out, and I had this sort of semi-smile on my face and into my eye. You must have wondered what was going on. But no, I've had some beautiful experiences too. I love getting out in nature, and man, just that feeling of connectedness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful to watch all the different experiences people have on the same path, from one extreme to the other. Some people are calm, collected, and some people are just losing it. So this is where we keep saying emotion is the seed of disease, and you got to connect with that breath, just like you've reinforced, especially on those dry days.
Breath,
very important.
Emotion.
Excuse me, I just started day 9 dry.
Right.
For my season change, so I just came back from a martial jiu-jitsu class. It wasn't.
I lost you a little bit. You're frozen.
I just came back from a jiu-jitsu class, and that wasn't a tough class, but still, I've been speaking too much these past few days, and I'm really dry. So I got to keep rinsing my mouth out. Forgive me, guys. Go ahead. How was your experience mentally through this fast?
Well, I've done, like I say, I have kind of, been on this awakening journey for quite a few years. So I know my mind quite well. So I've been pretty stable, both mentally and emotionally. And, I've had my moments. I've definitely noticed, my tolerance, my stress tolerance was not surprisingly, a little more variable, shall I say. There was less buffer between me and my feelings and my emotions. Which happens when you fast. You get this beautiful clarity. You're more sensitive, obviously, you're more connected. But the downside of it is, it is more challenging. My thoughts, positive and negative, could arise, and I had to, use all my experience with connecting with my breath at times to just, remind me that, bottom line is that I'm safe. My feelings that can arise if I keep my breath flowing. There's no thought that can arise that can overwhelm me unless I allow it to.
Right.
If I breathe and keep reminding myself that I'm safe, loved, I'm connected with that divine source, that for me is fundamental. And when I do that, and I've been, I have worked on that quite a lot. I have meditated pretty regularly for many years. And again, I think it's given me, a very nice foundation. So mentally, I've, maintained a, pretty, I've had consultation work. I do have people that are, seeing me for detox work as well, because I am trained with the Dr. Morse, and I'm still connected very much with Helen Holterman in the UK, who runs the Dr. Morse Herbs UK, which is cool because, we've set up this Master Fast Herbs UK, and she's very aware of I'm doing that alongside the Morse thing, because I just see what we're doing here on the Master Fast system as a refinement of what really Dr. Morse, Robert has the kidney filtration, understanding the importance of the lymphatic system, the Master Fast system that you've beautifully developed, and the herbs. man, they're absolutely, you know, he might have a slight different perspective on the, you know, the cooked juice versus the living foods, but he doesn't, you know, he doesn't quite, you know, he hasn't quite focused on that plasma, subtle, energetic interaction. He is so tuned in as a human being. I have huge love and respect for the guy. Mm-hmm. I still feel I want to find a way of all of us moving forward together, as I know you guys do too, and all of us, I think, here.
Yeah, we're all on the same page to help people. That's what we're doing as best we can. And everybody's probably moving a little bit different directions, and that's okay. You know, we just want to see how we can keep expanding and try and make it more simple and easier for people.
Exactly. Refining. It's refining, isn't it? You know, it's like the dry fasting. For me, I mean, if people haven't tried much dry fasting yet or are starting to experiment, the dry fasting, man, is so powerful. It so kicks your lymphatic system into, like, it, as you say, it unlocks the kidneys. We have unlocked, and Robert is very aware of the, you know, through, I think, mainly his friendship with Hilda Larson, who I also trained with. If any, you know, she's another gorgeous lady and has done a lot with the dry fasting. Again, I think thanks to you, Gino, that she came across the dry fasting. Okay, she doesn't choose to use she uses more the raw, the juices. But dry fasting, if anybody wants to improve and deepen their the improvement of their lymphatic system, the dry fasting is a major step forward. And that also I find very challenging, because I notice it around my intestines. It also tends to build up the acidity a bit in my intestines. So that was always the challenge for me when I fast. I slowly feel an increased sort of gripiness, as I describe it, building up. And again, something that you noticed, Gino, is the importance. At first, when I first started doing dry fasting, I thought, well, I'll take it as gently as possible. I won't do too much breath, anything too much physical. And I noticed if I kind of just gently push myself through and get my breath and my legs, because I noticed a slight weakness in my legs generally. And especially when I dry fast, when I get up, especially in the mornings, it seems to take a while for my leg. My legs felt a bit light and a bit. It was my experience, and as I, got my body moving a bit, and I thought, well, I'll make myself go for a walk. And there's this walk I do that's, it's got a slight incline. It's not too aggressive. It's got a bit of an incline, and it's about a 20-minute walk. And I can gradually build up my, keep my pace going. And as I go up the hill, my breath gets going. And I notice the acidity, that discomfort feeling starts to dissolve. And by the end of the walk, I'm feeling great. And the discomfort in my intestines area, abdominal area, has started to move.
We got to move, Peter. This is the key. In dry, especially in dry, you have to move.
Yeah. And you realize you go from an intellectual understanding to a very physical knowing that actually your lymph system hasn't got its own pump. It's got it, your activity is its pump.
And this is where plasma science teaches us it's the energy system. And it makes so much sense. Once it starts moving, the energy comes back.
Yeah.
It's so simple. The blood's always moving.
Yeah.
We don't need help there. We need help in the lymph system.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty of dry fasting. It just tears you right down and gets rid of what you don't need very quickly. And it just opens you up spiritually like no tomorrow. Like, whoa, the information downloads. Are you getting that?
Yeah.
You're on dry?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the other deeper, you know, having done this 108 days, what it's also made clear to me, you know, I've been very aware of this, that, you know, the true detoxification and awakening journey, it's a long, you know, it's a long-term process. To think that we can do this in a few weeks or months, or, you know, you're just scratching the surface, really. That's fine. It's cool. And you definitely notice improvements. You know, I've definitely noticed many improvements. You know, I used to have a lot of problems with my knees. I've done a lot of sport, running. I've loved squash and tennis. I've played a lot of golf. You know, so my knees have taken quite a hammering over the years. You know, I was, you know, playing a lot of sport in my school days, and wow, there's so much. The inflammation, discomfort has all disappeared. I have none of that. There's more in my hands. I've done a lot of decorating work in the last 10 years. So my hands, that was one of the reasons I started to look at myself and my diet more consciously again, because I was starting to experience some arthritis in my hands, especially. I was starting to get a niggle in my right hip. You know, I'd lost a lot of my hair. And, you know, you can clearly see there's still some more work to do up here, man. But, and in my hands, I can still feel, you know, there's a little bit of bone spur in my thumbs, you know. But this is longer term. This is real deep stuff you're working on. To heal joints, to reabsorb calcium, to rebuild cartilage. This isn't small stuff. But, you know, I think we stay awesome.
It's a lifetime commitment. It's not going to happen in 108 days, but you're going to heal a lot of things in 108 days.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, my intention is, you know, I feel like I've really set the stage. I've done some really brilliant groundwork, and I intend to regularly do, you know, the change of season, 30 to 40 days. I'm going to be doing that for my, you know, that's to me just common sense now. It's just it's going to be part of my lifestyle, you know.
Unless you want to start banging your head against the wall again, you go back.
I mean, you feel, you know, feeling that increased awakening and feeling that to me was my primary drive. You know, I've always been quite, you know, relatively healthy and alive and vital and enjoyed life. But I've always had that sense there's so much more scratching the surface of who we are. You know, and I've met some incredible people in the last 20, 30 years. It's been such a ride, man. And, you know, and it's a journey that continues ever onwards and ever upwards. And I'm interested in opening and expanding to that more and more. Using my common sense. You know, to me, this is just a question of another way of raising my vibration, clearing obstruction. Because we are primarily, I believe, energetic or spiritual beings, and we have a physical body that we're constantly manifesting. And when you fast, you start to not only just have that as an intellectual experience, but it becomes a real physical experience. And I'm sure, you know, I know I'm probably preaching a little to the converted here, but it's great to share our experience, because, you know, there's been a lot, this density, you know, we've had a lot fed us the other way. You know, by the time we're 5, I think people say we have our fundamental beliefs about life pretty much locked in there, and untangling some of these fundamental beliefs. Of course, the biggest of all is our physical death is inevitable. Rather, you know, so we're very heavily, you know, programmed into this density, and really breaking out of that, removing these obstructions, physical, emotional, mental. They're all connected. You know, like you're saying, the seat of this is emotional and mental. You know, that mental body, thought plus feeling, is the creative force of the universe. You know, we are constantly manifesting our body, and we are constantly manifesting our circumstances.
Exactly.
Reflected back You know, if you want to see what's going on in your life, just look at yourself and your body. They're mirrors.
Exactly. Well said. We're continuously manifesting our physical body. It's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. So it's been, you know, just like I said, it's been a beautiful confirmation and experience on so many levels. You know, it's been pretty testing at times, for sure, and also surprisingly easy. You know, the pudding is actually that's something. When I first started, throughout the 77 day, the first one I did, it was like, wow, this is quite a difficult. And the pudding mix to me tasted like, oh no, I do this every day, but I could feel it helped. You know, yeah. Even after 108 days, I'm still getting mucoid plaque. Even when I went to the colonic therapist on Friday, you know, there wasn't much left in my system, but you know, I was still getting the plaque coming out. For sure, it's the pudding mix combined with the toxins being, you know,
Drawing, yeah.
drawing it all out. But it, you know, it's sufficiently for you to know that it ain't just the pudding. It's stuff. Just a little side thing. In the 108 days, about halfway through, Bree and I, because Bree, my partner, recent partner, we've gotten together fairly recently in the last 9 months. She did 72 days on the fast, but her job's even more physical than mine, and she's in full-time employment. She started losing a lot of weight. She's got a much faster system than I have, and actually she wants to at some point share her story a little bit.
Excellent, sure.
But you know, but you know, she's a little more of a private person. But she, you know, her experience, you know, they started getting heavy with her. They noticed that at work, she'd lost weight. They noticed she was only drinking liquids, and they got quite heavy. They got quite heavy, and they were starting to say, "Look, we're concerned. We're not sure you're keeping up with your work." And we're gonna review and give you a written warning. And if you don't start eating again, we might even, you know, give you the push. So I guess they were, you know, concerned, obviously, and Bree had to, you know, she had also had quite a powerful detox period. You know, she also, you know, and wasn't, you know, was lying in bed, not feeling great those 3 days. And then they got heavy at work. And so she realized, actually, I've reached my sense of.
Yeah.
She'd done 40 days before. That was her first time, 72 days. The system's different. And that's something I think that we need to really not be, to respect our own inner guidance. If you come up against a real stumbling block, it's not a failure to stop. Go.
Not at all. Not at all.
I'm going to stop here. I'm going to take stock. You know, she cleared a lot. Like I say, some people's metabolism, her metabolism is much faster than mine. You know, so she cleanses like, wow. 40 days, I think she cleared more stuff than I cleared in 108. You know, and it's unique. It's a unique journey.
Yeah, you know,
we run.
We all have different demands and experiences and so on and so forth. We don't know where it's going to take us, but we jump in and ride it out and see what happens.
Yeah, and it's have a group like this because, you know, we're gaining more and more experience, more and more support. We know where, you know, the pitfalls. You know, we're constantly refining the system. It's just it's very, very good. And you know, this is a key. It's not the key. It's another very, very beautiful, powerful key that I strongly recommend and encourage people to enjoy and check out. But trust, always trust your own guidance. You know, we can only support each other, make suggestions and share our experiences together, but our own guidance is so important.
We have so many tools to use now for all different situations where a lot of the times we can get through them. And if we can't, like you said, it's time to, you know, take a break and go for the next one in several months.
Exactly. There's plenty of time to do this. You know, don't force yourself. Listen to your body. Trust your body.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent stuff. So, you know, we have a veteran here who's been cleansing Peter's, like he's just mentioned, for a long time. You know, so it's going to be a different experience for somebody who's coming off a SAD diet, or even somebody who's never fasted. We're going to all have different experiences. We don't know. We just jump in. We have the confidence now to even put somebody from a SAD diet on Master Fast. Let's see where it goes. If it's too much, we back off on green juices for a week or two. But now we have, you know, we go with a feeler gauge. We can see. We want to have the effects of what's happening in the body, because we don't know until we jump in. We really don't know. That's the key. We jump in, and most people could get through it. You know, there's a few that will have to back off on green juices, but not many. And it's amazing to watch. It's a lot of emotional stuff and so on and so forth. If somebody's been around a lot of chemicals or pharmaceuticals, it makes it a little bit more challenging. But, you know, we have the tools. We have the tools to assist. You know, like you're having a gallbladder attack. If it's really bothering you, get that Epsom salt and get it through you. Yeah. No big deal. No big deal. But you know, the lemon and oil stuff, we're done with that. We don't need that stuff anymore. So many people have passed stones on the Master Fast, but what I'm finding is a lot of these stones, they're getting dissolved with the grape juice and so on and so forth. And we're not seeing them, but they're coming out. They're coming out. I did a liver flush. I think it was in the middle of my 108 days. It was a big mistake. I got basically no stones out, but it took me over a week to recover. So after that experience, because I've been doing liver cleanses for many years, I said liver flushes are extinct. There's no need for them, because there was nothing left. It was just a huge strain that my body didn't need at that time. And it doesn't need at any time, really. You know, so, you know, we have so many tools, the herbs, the dry fast, you know, the whole system's there, and we got all corners covered pretty much. We always have room for expansion and improvements, always. And this is how we're doing it, by learning from each other and by people sharing. This is the only way we're going to learn and expand. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to watch all the different experiences of people.
Yeah.
It's truly a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
So,
has any questions they want to ask, you know, I pretty much feel like I've shared, you know, the majority of my experience so far. But then I'm very happy if anybody wants to put any questions out. I don't quite know how.
Anybody have questions for Peter? Let's see here. I mean, we've got a few people on. If anybody has questions for Peter or any other questions, you know, open up now. I can't do too much talking. I've been, I started day 9 dry, folks. So,
wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I've over talked the past few days, and it's taken its toll. So, let's see if we can get some other people, you know, opening up here. Come on, folks. Can't be always me.
Hi, Cynthia.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
Hi, and my question is about coconut water versus using that vinegar and baking soda. Somebody posted something about that, and I didn't know you could use coconut water just at the end of the fast. Could you
You mean to break a dry fast?
Yeah, to break a dry fast, somebody drank coconut water, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. I don't remember reading that, but they said it was somewhere in the pin post, but I must have missed it. But
yeah, no, the information is there, but we don't use it to break. necessarily. We should always start and end the dry fast. Start with an enema, then take your MFS bubbly or champagne or whatever. We have a few names. We got to stick with one.
Yeah.
When we see this, I like MFS bubbly. So we start the dry with that. That's your last thing. And then when you're going to break your fast, that's your first thing you should drink.
Okay.
And we're sipping. Now, we want to continue hydrating. We're doing this slowly. And you have an option of going to the coconut water if you want to continue hydrating on coconut water. What I usually do, I do the bubbly. I'll do the coconut water sometimes. Sometimes I'll go right into the kidney tea, especially on the long dries. We want to really help the kidneys as much as we can because they're doing so much work on these dry fasts. They're the kings on fasting, especially on dry, folks. That's why we see that crap coming out of the kidneys when we do these long dries. You got to see the stuff that's coming out of me. It's just like I'm only urinating 1.5 ounces a couple times a day, but it's all sediment. It's just, wow, where's this stuff coming from? So
I've been once a month where I do the 72-hour. That's the farthest I've been able to.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's great.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Amazing.
The coconut water is an option after the bubbly.
Okay.
If you want to sip on it. But like I said, if you're going to go on a long one, I'm talking about when you start getting into the 5-day-ish, you want to do the bubbly, and then you want to go on to the tea, not even the coconut water. You want to go on all full support for those kidneys, folks. And after several hours, depending on how long you go, if you go about 5 days, 2-3 hours of hydrating, go do an enema, or colonic. If you're doing over 7 days, you're going to just hydrate that day, no enema until the next day. Start hydrating on the next day, then do your enema. I'm talking about 7+ days. This is for people who have been dry fasting and eating clean, mainly fruits and raw foods, fruits and vegetables, for at least 1 to 2 years. We don't recommend people jumping into those long dries. It's going to be counterproductive for people doing these on a sad diet. So, slow, steady finishes the race. We don't want to win the race. We want to finish the race, and we want to finish the race whole. So, yeah, we have all these options, but we have to use our common sense and really protect these kidneys, because that's what I burnt out when I did my first 40-day Concord grape juice fast in 1990. I completely burnt out my kidneys. And I paid for it for about 2 years of being bedridden because of my ignorance and, just not knowing, didn't have people or places to turn to, no internet, no nothing. But it was the best thing that happened because now we can help so many people from my little experience, and from everybody else's. But, I was going over, with this fast, I got a lot of thoughts coming through when I fast, and we're having a lot of people having challenges with the longer dry fasts. Yeah, I'm talking about even getting up to 3 days. So, how are we going to help these people? Well, we're going to take baby steps. And how are we going to do that? Let's use our common sense. Dry is where it's going to be very aggressive. If you read Arnold Ehret's mucusless diet and his rational fasting, he talked about kidney filtration in his own way, and he talked about the less you drink, the more aggressive the fast. Most people miss that. Way back when I started fasting from those days, I've always continued after 1990. I never stopped. Every season change, I'd be doing fast. But I would experiment on drinking as less as I possibly could. I didn't know what dry fasting was or anything. So I did these experiments, see how little I could drink, But so what I'm coming up with to help people that are having challenges with these dries is go as long as you can, dry. As long as you can. You know, we introduce some of the tinctures either by a few drops, rinsing your mouth, spitting it out, or taking like at max a half dose of the tinctures like we've shared before. We don't want to be doing a lot of tinctures because I've tried on dry pushing more tinctures. It dries you right out, folks. It really dries you out. You don't want to go there. Half a dose is more than enough on dry when you're doing these tinctures. People are saying it's not dry. Okay, you want to try it? Go start doing 1 or 2 ounces of tinctures and then come talk to me on a long dry.
Yeah, I found that too when I do the tinctures. I think I feel afterwards like my mouth is drier and I feel sabotaged. I think it's better just to swish the tea and spit it out. I do much better with that.
The herbs just are pulling, and they're pulling that stagnant hydration out of us, which is not really hydration. It's stagnant fluids and crap we don't need. So that's why we don't want to do a lot. We just want a little boost for a little help. So what I'm thinking now, for people who are having challenges, get yourself an ounce shot glass. You know, this is even bigger, a 1 ounce shot glass, and fill it up with one. And we're going to do this every half an hour or every hour. We're going to take like a half a dose of a kidney tea, and then the next one will be the juice. And then the next one will go back to kidney tea. The next one will go with the juice. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to allow us mentally to train our body to push further on these dries. And believe me, you're still going to get results. Believe me. That's all you're going to do to help push. Because if you're right now, you're struggling, you can't get past, let's say, 24, 36, maybe 48 hours, and you're done. This might help you go an extra day or two. So then the next, sorry?
Can you, that, I played around with that a bit myself. Can you hear me okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
And I found, I could go at least another 2 days, easy.
There you go.
Very simple. I was doing a half measure of the tinctures and a tiny amount of grape juice, or sometimes the kidney tea and the tinctures.
There you go.
And it made it so much easier because I noticed on the dry, I noticed after about day 2 or 3, I can do 2 or 3 quite comfortably. 3, 4 is about as far as I've gone so far. But on that, I can definitely feel those kidneys kind of, you can feel that, I experience it like a ball of heat in my back. And, I massage with the burnt sticks and, the burnt spoon, and that for sure helps, and keeping everything moving helps too. But I found that very helpful. So that's a good
way. So for anybody who's having a challenge, this is why I keep saying we keep expanding. We keep coming up with tools to aid people so they can push further, because we have to push beyond our comfort zones, folks. We have to. If we want to get these deep levels of healing, we got to push beyond those comfort zones. And we have to find these ways. And there's a lot of people having challenges. So this is another tool that we're going to add in for people having these challenges, or people that are new to dry fasting. Some people find it easy, some people don't. So now we have another tool to really aid in this dry for anybody who needs it. If you can handle without it, go without it. Go without it.
You go as long as you can?
Dry.
Okay, so because I'm one that the deeper I got into my 108, the shorter my dry fast were going. And I was doing 24 to 30, and that's it. I couldn't go any further. So if I could do get all the way to 30 and then take my little sips. Okay. All right. Thanks.
It's going to help you out. Like half-ounce shots, guys. So throughout the day, if you're within an 8-hour window, let's not go more than 8 hours. So basically, you're not totally drinking more than about 4 or 5 ounces of fluid. So we're keeping it very, very low.
And you still. Hello, I definitely noticed very good filtration all the way through when I did that. The filtration hardly dropped off, the amount of sediment I was getting out is still fantastic. You know, when you know, total through that 8-hour period, you're probably, you know, that much liquid. You know, that's still very little liquid going through your body.
Exactly, especially after you've done a few days dry. Believe me, it's not going to hydrate you. You do some testing. Now that you've done 108 days, Sandy, start building for a week or two. Continue your dry fasting schedule. You know, relax it a little bit, whatever. But when you start passing 2-3 weeks, mentally, you should be able to be preparing yourself to push longer dries now when you're eating. You'll feel more confidence when you're eating, folks. This is how I did it. In the master fast, to push long dries, it's tough, especially on your first one. Once you start eating again, that's where you'll be able to push really deep on those longer dries.
Well, I reached 108 on Thursday.
Congrats.
Yesterday I had, thank you. Yesterday I had my celery parsley juice, and I lost all confidence in my eating, so I went back to dry today. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay.
How did your first juice, or did you have any meals?
No.
No?
Not yet.
Just the greens?
Just the greens.
Excellent. You're glowing. You know, you guys are...
I got so scared, I thought I'm going to lose it and start eating everything. So I just decided to.
No. Just because few people go through that, don't put your focus there. Focus on your goals. Yes, it's going to happen to some of us, but that's why we have a beautiful support page. Folks, this is what the page is for. Use it, because we're all different stages, so we need support. And
well, I'm collected now today, so I feel great today again.
Yeah. We don't have the support out there. As you see, it's complete opposite. People are wanting to put us away.
No way. They want to get us down fast. And thank you again for this system, Gino. Thank you so much. I'll be quiet now, but thank you.
You're welcome.
So many blessings to you.
It's a pleasure to share, you know. It's a pleasure people are taking charge of their health. This is the key. And this is why we're here. This is why we're sharing. And this is why we need everybody to share, because every time somebody shares, we get more ideas, because everybody has a different experience. Like you know, what I just shared, Peter's already been trying it. Amazing. If I didn't know he was trying it, but the information's there because he's tried it. It's in the ether, whatever you want to call that. Information's there because people are trying it, but we have to share. You know, I can download it sometimes, but sometimes it's not coming to me. But, you know, this is what I'm talking about, sharing. You know, so, you know, we're going to keep expanding so we can help more people, because so many people are in trouble, especially the people who went down the medical route. Those ones are having the biggest challenges because of what happened to them. So, you know, anything we can come up with to help, it's going to be a blessing. You know, there's so many not sharing, and it's sad. It's sad. It disturbs me a little. But anyway, that's where they're at. We keep moving forward with the people who are sharing. And that's all we can do. Anybody else have anything to share? I got to rinse my mouth again. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, go ahead, Petra.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm not on MasterFast system yet. And I just figured out that I'm very scared to lose a lot of weight. But I said that in the group. And to get judgments from other people. Okay. So last week I heard from my massage therapist, and I suddenly remembered one specific thing she said to me, because I was already fasting, but in my own way. But I told her, and she said a few things about that, which scared the heck out of me. And there I found my proof that people will say awful things to me when I would do an even more extreme so-called fast. Anyway.
If that's what you focus on, that's where you're going to go.
Ooh,
we are creators. Your wish is your command, truly. Always.
Yeah, I got that. But I suddenly remembered one specific thing that she said to me. And I think it's bullshit, but I have a problem, and that is I'm very influential. No, I don't know. That must be wrong English, but you can just tell me anything, and I might believe it, because of being unsure of myself or something. And she said this, and I would like to put that as a question.
Yes, sure.
She said, you could be getting too clean, and that will make you weak. So that must be BS, but
completely
can you
opposite.
answer that?
Completely opposite. And I'll explain what people are interpreting in what I understand she's thinking. You become sensitive.
Right.
And that's what we want, because you want the senses to be awakened and feel the dangers and so on and so forth of chemicals and so on. Everybody's so numbed out, they don't feel anything. Doesn't mean it's not doing damage. That's the problem people misinterpret. We want to be sensitive, and there's no such thing as being too clean. It's being awakened. Completely different.
Right. Right.
So that's the ignorance out there. I am very sensitive, especially when I'm fasting. I could smell things like a bloodhound, you know, and it's amazing. Sometimes it's a challenge. You're going into a public place and you're going to smell everything. You know, you just have to learn to turn it down. You can do that. You can turn it down emotionally to not let it bother you. It works. You have to train yourself, because I've been doing it for years, and I was used to go to gyms and stuff. And at the beginning, I'm going, holy geez, I'm going to quit because of the smells. But honestly, you learn to turn it down, and it goes away. It goes away. Mm-hmm. So you can do this. It's all done through your intent and emotion of what you focus on, and it's great. You want your senses, folks. You don't want to be numbed out. You do not want to be numbed out. That's a dangerous place to be.
Mm. Yeah, that's what she made me feel. In the end, she made me feel like I was being called back to normal. So I think that must be a very general idea what people are trying to do to you.
It's there's a lot of ignorance, folks, on what fasting is and how the body actually heals and what it really takes to detoxify a body. Very, very few know. The people that have gone through 108 have a really good idea. Most of them. And, you know, some of them still, I see, they're a little challenged at what it takes. But through more fasting, those experiences will allow you to understand. It's only through experience. That's the only way I know and why I'm so confident. Because I've done so much fasting, folks. You know, I've almost killed myself several times, but I've learned, and now I can see how to help people, which is why I went through this. It was all for a reason. The universe had me do it and kept me with such a stubborn attitude to continue and push forth so I can learn and teach other people. That's all it is. You know, I'm no genius. It's just, it was for a purpose. And that's the way I look at it, so we can share and help so many others. You know, folks, this is what we need to do. Very, very few understand what it takes to detoxify a body and the stages of what can happen when you detoxify a body are truly misunderstood. Meaning, yeah, losing weight is the given one. Everybody knows that. Issues with the breathing are one of the biggest challenges when somebody can't breathe. We have a lot of tools to be able to restore that. Number one is enemas. For anything, enemas. Remember enemas, folks. The colon is the third lung. Usually, if you can clear the bowels, you'll restore your breathing. And if you can't, you start doing acupressure points for your breathing. Keep these things always around you. The links of these websites to aid for using these acupressure points. So, you know, you don't have to think too much, because when you're in these situations, it's challenged to think clearly. So you want these things around you and have access to them, and use the board if you need it, you know, for getting questions, because now we're having somebody around the clock to be able to help. but aches and pains, severe cramping, temporary blindness, could happen, or completely, you know, very, very blurry vision for several days, could happen. That happened to me. It's happened many times. Plugged up in the head, your ears are all plugged up. Going deaf, almost feeling like you're gone deaf. You know, very severe pains in the eyes when you're moving. Massive headaches, itchiness, numbness, paralysis, the severe cramping. Those were horrible. And when I had those in my feet in the middle of the night, I had to use like 2 hands full force to stop the cramping. You have to listen. You have to understand, folks, what the body's doing. The body is not stupid. It's not missing anything. It's cramping deep in that area because there's something that's got to come out. That's all it's doing. Use your common sense. Don't go back to the mind game where, oh, I'm missing potassium and this, and that mineral. It's all bullcrap. Because you stick through it. It may go a week, 2 weeks. For me, I think it lasts like 2 weeks, and then they're gone, completely gone. They won't come back. Old injuries, the pain, if you've broken bones or stuff, the pain comes back with intensity. It may last an hour, may last a day or two. Gone for good. Never come back again. You know, severe stomach cramps, severe liver pains like Peter's, gallbladder, hair loss. Your hair all could fall out. Your nails can fall out. I'm just giving you an idea, folks. These are things where people with no experience and knowledge, because they're ignorant of what the body does when it heals, they need to know. You need to know these things and embrace them and use the tools to get through these stages. They're usually only temporary, a few days. Some people may be unlucky and go for a week or two or more, you know. But hey, if you can push through them, you know, if you're working, you can't do it when you're working. You're going to need rest, or you're going to have to break your fast because if you have to work. So this is where you need your common sense. But if you can push through these, you know, if we have a support system where, you know, I was mentioning before, we have people in the same area where somebody needs help, real physical help. Somebody close by can go there and assist. You know, maybe the guy can't do enemas, the woman can't do enemas. Somebody can help with that. Beautiful. We don't need to go to ER and get stabilized and have to detox all that garbage out again. Can you imagine we help all each other that way? We won't need the hospital system anymore in case there's a real, true emergency where you really can't breathe, you can't sort it out. You go to get stabilized, you know. Yeah. So, you know, these are all the ideas, and we need to share and have a network of people supporting each other in the same area, same cities, and so on and so forth. And this is what I envision myself creating, and it's coming to be. A few people have offered these services, and this is a beautiful thing. We also have here Slavik, 3 people who completed 108 days. This past week. Amazing, man. Amazing. It's just growing and growing and growing. So, you know, Slavik, if you want to say a few words, you've been through an amazing, crazy ordeal. Crazy ordeal. We read your detailed story, which is the short version, he says. I know we all have long versions, but amazing, Slavik, amazing. Just stay focused. Stay focused. Use the Postmaster Fast board. Stay focused. Now is where all the real beautiful building comes in, is when you break that fast. So you can stay balanced and do that breath work. You gotta do the breath work, folks. It's imperative you do breath work. All the people that aren't doing breath work are the ones having the biggest challenges. That simple. When I slack off my breath work, my mind goes nuts. Go back on the breath work, everything goes back. We need the breath work. We need to move. We got to force ourselves to move. It's simple. I just keep repeating myself, but hey, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. This is how we are going to be able to help more and more people by, you know, having all these different experiences. I see so many posts over and over of, you know, just what I've talked about, these healing reactions. I don't call them crisis, folks. Get away from that word. The body is way more intelligent than all the minds on this planet put together. The body does not put itself in a crisis. The mind puts the body in a crisis. And the difference is your lifestyle puts you in that state, but the body always knows what to do. We just have to understand on how to assist it and use our common sense when to pull back. If we got to pull back on some green juices for a few days, it'll cool you down. It'll cool you down. It'll work. It'll, you know, slow the detox way down. Greens have no power. I've done 60-day green juices fast. They got no power, but they will slow you down and cool you off and you know, keep you going. And if that isn't enough, then you're going to break your fast wisely. And if it's somebody in an extreme situation where they have to go to green juices and that ain't doing it for them, they may have to go to some steamed greens, some steamed spinach with parsley, some, you know, yeah, salads, whatever, to really slow them down. But always enemas, acupressure points, massage, breathing, ice packs, castor oil packs, cold, hot and cold therapy, always finish with cold. The herbs, up your herbs, subtract lymphatic herbs, remove the lymphatic herbs if you're going through a crazy thing. You know, yeah, up your kidneys, because kidney is, let's say kidney is king and queen, not just king. Kidney's king and queen. We have two of them. We have the king, we have the queen, and they have the crowns, which are the adrenal glands. King and queens. Those are the number one organs and glands we need to take care of when we're fasting, because they're doing so much work, and a lot of you know that because of the aches and pains we feel. And if you drink too many fluids, you're going to stress them more. You're going to stress them more. It's the opposite of what we've been taught. But you got to find that balance point where you need to drink enough fluids when we're in our drinking window to wash. So there's that balancing point. Some people want to go too much on a short, small, dry fasting window off the start. I don't recommend that on your first 108 days, you know, folks. You need to build up to this. If you're in a severe condition where, you know, you got a death sentence, you may, you know, want to push some days. Maybe you want to do a 4-day a 4-day drinking window today, but tomorrow you open it up to an 8 window. And then maybe the next day you go back to a 6. You go back and forth. Don't try and do 4-hour windows right off the bat. You're going to crash and burn. We have people with experience like that. You're going to burn. And you're not going to be able to go 180. The reason we want to go 108 is to get a thorough, really good GI tract cleaning. So when we go back to building, we have a really good field interaction with no waste in the way to get total absorption. We've had some people start off on skin and bones in Master Fast. We've had a few. And, you know, they put the weight on after, folks. So let's not be distracted by what people say or do. If that's going to bother you, stay away from people when you're doing these cleanses. Wear a lot of clothes when you go out. Seriously. It's your health. Nobody can do it for you. Not everybody's going to go to skin and bones, but some of us will. Some of us will. I just posted the other day, I went to bed at 141 pounds. In the morning, I was 143. I gained 2 pounds on air in the night. How does that happen, folks? When you understand everything we've been taught is a lie. But it's not 100% belief system in us, so we still need to eat and drink a little bit. Otherwise, we wouldn't need to eat and drink. We can take it all in through the air, because we're doing it anyway. We're doing it anyway, folks. So you know, this is where we're going. You know, when you go dry long, you lose weight very quick. I'm, you know, 140. from about 155. I usually stay at around that. I don't know what I went down to in Italy when I did 12 days. I didn't have a scale, and I didn't care. But I don't think I went much less than where I'm at. I might have dipped into the 130s. When I did my 108 days, I think my lowest was 137 or 138 from 2 years ago. But this is after years and years of fasting. You come to a point where you're not going to start going down to the skin and bones anymore. You'll lose, but you won't go to the extreme like we're seeing. And it's just it takes time to get to that, and we just continue and build on that. Any more questions? I gotta rinse my mouth. Sorry, excuse me.
I don't have a question, but I did want to say I did the breathing technique throughout, and I'm not sure I always did it right, but it helped me get through so many things. But I am signing up with Dana to get some more help with that. So we're going to do a Skype session.
Yeah, the breathing techniques, what I found over the years, doing many different ones with yoga and my own different ones and so on and so forth, you never know if you're doing them right, and then you're going to know when it's right. You'll know. You will know. You'll just tap in. I've been practicing the shallow breathing for a bit, on and off, and in my martial arts class with many people, when we're doing some of these exercises, and the teacher, he's saying, "No, you got to breathe," and everybody's doing their breath work, and I'm doing the opposite. I'm doing very shallow breaths, and we're doing some jumping jacks or whatever, or Hindu squats or whatever, and when I'm tapped in, I'm not out of breath, and everybody else is. But it doesn't happen every time, but when I tap in into that proper shallow breath, no, I'm not out of breath at all. It's amazing. So that's why I'm saying, don't worry about it. When you'll know when you get it right. You'll know. So we got to come to that point where it's always at that point. It becomes natural, and we don't have to think about it anymore. We're continuously tapping into that shallow CO2 belly breathing where you're hardly breathing. That's the key. You perfect the breath where you hardly need it anymore. That's the key. So you're breathing, 1, 2, 3 breaths a minute instead of the average 8, 10, whatever it is, a minute. So this is going to take us some training, some concentration, some focus, some practice. I find when I fast, breathing is easy, breath work. When I eat, especially if you don't eat great, it's tough to do breath work. That's what I find. Because the colon is the third lung. If it's empty, the breath work is much easier. You guys will see as you start eating, and if you eat things that you really shouldn't be, the heavier stuff, you'll feel it in the breath work. That's what I've noticed. Hey, Samantha's joined us. Another veteran. She's done the long dry fast. What did she do? I think 11 days, 11 and a half or something, and she's done a long master fast, and completely huge changes in her. She's had a very sad incident with one of her children, which blessing. I hope he's doing great now. Poor little guy, he's gonna be. We're gonna grow that leg back for him. We're gonna grow it back for him. The technology's here now to grow it back. We're gonna get that happening. So yeah. Anybody else have questions?
I think Daniel was asking questions at the beginning.
Oh yeah, Daniel, you want to speak? You had a question right from the start. Are you around?
Swavik is doing.
Yeah. Hey.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm on day 41.
You're on the full master fast?
Yes. Well, the first 30 days I was using the GI room instead of the pudding.
Okay.
And and the last 10 days I switched to the pudding. So the thing is that I kind of don't have filtration so far.
No filtration?
Well, after 40 hours, and more. I have a bit of like mucus smoke floating.
Okay. Before you go further, Daniel, what's your age? And give us just a really quick history of your majority part of your life's diet and your diet in the last few years.
I'm 27, and well, the diet was just a regular diet. A lot of home cooked food, but also junk during the years. And I have been vegan for about 2 years, eating healthy vegan.
Cooked vegan, raw vegan?
Cooked vegan, but everything cooked at home, and no bread, no sugar, no refined stuff.
No grains?
A lot of grains and nuts and fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
And then
any fasting history at all? Any juice fasting?
No fasting before.
This is your first.
This is my first fast. Well, in July I read the mucus system, diet system.
Yep.
And then I went on fruits and vegetables and some nuts, and I was doing that for a couple of months, lowering the amounts of food. Then I found out about Dr. Morse. I got the herbs around September. For 3 months, I was doing the same thing with the herbs. And then in the end of October, I did my first dry fast. I did a 40 hours dry fast, and I did some castor oil pullings on the kidneys.
How many?
Before that, I think I did twice before the dry fast and on the dry fast. And actually, after that, I had a filtration for the first time.
Yeah, the castor oil packs you should be doing 3 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off, until things start happening. Have you looked at your eyes, your genetics, or what your genetics are like?
I did look at the eyes with all the charts out there and Dr. Morris's videos, just in myself. It looks pretty bad.
Okay, because I'm 27 years old. Most of the younger generation have weak genetics these days. That's why I'm asking. So
I had a pretty toxic life before that with the nutrition and all kinds of stuff.
From what you've shared, grains are probably one of the worst things to put in the body next to dairy. I think it's better to have a small piece of fish or a small piece of meat once a week, honestly, than eating grains. Because the problem with grains, when people eat grains, they eat them every day. That's the problem. They're so dehydrating. They suck all your energy, all your hydration. They're irritating. They inflammation. They're easy to overeat. They're addictive. It's a big problem. They rob you. They rob you. So this is your first fast. The filtering thing, when you check your filtering, the one you should really be checking at least is the morning, your first morning urine. Put it in a jar, put it in the fridge, and see what happens after several hours. See if you see any filtration. Sometimes you won't see it right away. But once the kidneys start opening, we use that term, opening, you'll start seeing the sediment right away. You'll see it. And if you put it in the fridge, you'll see it drop down. So that's one key way to see if you're filtering anything at all. Because there's got to be something there, especially if you're fasting. When we dry, you're going to get more. It's natural because there's more focus putting on elimination when we dry, especially because the kidneys can do 100% of their work instead of trying to get rid of fluids they don't need or want. Because most people are drinking too many fluids, especially water. That's why we don't drink any water. We don't drink any water. How much tea are you drinking a day? And how much juice?
I'm doing 2 cups of tea and 1 liter of juice.
1 liter?
1 liter, 2 cups, yeah. And I started around 14 hours of dry fast.
Okay.
Every day, and I was 18.
every day is your drinking window. How many hours you said?
Now it's 18 dry fast, 6-hour drink.
Okay, so you're pretty up there. A couple of guys, a few people mentioned they cut their tea consumption in half. They used only half a cup twice a day instead of 1 cup, and they improved their kidney filtration. So you have to play around with these things. Everybody's body is a little different. Because as I said before, even if we're drinking too much of the good fluids, you can stress out the kidneys. And that's why you have to find that balancing stage in your fast of how much fluids per day works for you, so you can get some good filtration, but you can stay hydrated and wash through that GI tract, because you don't want to go too dry. You're not gonna make 108 days. And if there's some days that you need to open up your drinking window, don't worry about it. If it's only 12 hours one day, don't worry about it. This is how you have to think. It's okay. Even if you had to drink 2 or 3 liters one day, because for whatever reason, it's okay. The next day you may go back to 4-hour window. That's the way we go. We have to feel. That detoxification is an art. It's an art. And you have to learn how to feel and where to push, when you can push, when you can pull back. These are the things that come with experience of many fasts. Many, many, many fasts.
How many hours of weekly dry fast?
I started with 36 hour, 38, 40, 46, and 62 was the highest.
Oh, well, nice. We're approaching a season change, right? Everybody should be going for 5 days.
Yeah, well, I'm really, really low weight. I would like to do it because maybe I could push it, but I'm extremely low weight.
Yeah, I don't let go of the mind of the weight. We've gave you some tips how to push it with small amounts of juice and tea, alternating through the day, very small amounts. So go as long as you can dry, and then introduce that. See if you can push it up to that 5 days. I'm going to tell you one thing, folks. I had kidney problems as long as I can remember, from young teenage years, maybe earlier, I don't know. Always kidney pains. I didn't know what it was all those years, but all the years of fasting and all this and that, the best results I got with most kidney relief is after I did my 12-day dry fast. I didn't feel my kidneys anymore at all. They just went gone. And now, if I keep my eating fine, if I indulge in things I shouldn't, I'll feel them here and there, but never to the degree I used to have. Never to that degree. So I'm not telling you guys to do a 12-day. I'm telling you to slowly, over the months and years, work your way up and up and up into these dries. And after you've done 108 days or whatever, one or a couple of master fasts, and you're back into the feeding time, is when you're going to push the dries, when you're eating, not in the master fast, after, because your confidence will be built up. I started my master fast in Italy with a 12-day dry fast, but I came off of eating. So I was okay, I'm going to do my season change. I'm jumping in, see how long I can go. My goal back then was 9 days, because my most before was 7. When I reached 9, I felt so freaking good. I just kept going, and I hit 12. I could have done another day, but I'm happy with 12 because there's a lot of stuff happening. So I needed to start building and can just continue with the master. But anyway, I'm just giving you the overviews of the way I think and the way I do things. You're doing great. You got to let go of the weight. You got to understand, we cannot build a body on crap. People think, oh, should I build my weight up before I fast? It doesn't work that way. You can eat and build up all you want. you're going to lose it so friggin' fast if it's not built properly. You're wasting your time and stressing the body. And a lot of people that can't put on weight, doesn't matter what they eat, they can't put the weight on anyway. It's because there's no proper absorption. So they need to fix the absorption properly. And then you can start building the weight after. You know, you've given that digestive system a long rest and been able to do a lot of healing on its own. That's the only way it can heal. The psyllium pudding, that stuff doesn't use any digestion. It's going through. There's a little bit of muscle work to push it through. No digestion is happening. Otherwise, we wouldn't get rid of the plaque. Because as soon as digestion starts, Peter knows this, there's no plaque coming out. It stops. As soon as you eat, elimination stops, folks. It stops. So we've been able to find a way where we can actually assist the body in our horrific states of toxins in the human body at this stage in our time. Because at one time we wouldn't need to assist the body in a clean environment. We just fast. But now we're so friggin' toxic, we need assistance. We need it. Look at the people that are doing these water fasts, the trouble they're getting into. You know, they're not assisting the body. They're just going on water fasts. We have herbs, we have the psyllium pudding, and so on and so on and so forth. You know, these things are magical when we're fasting, if you haven't noticed. We're seeing regeneration happening in the eyes in 40, 50 days on some people. Some lacunas closing up. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, you know, these tools are there to work. You know, we have Hardy. She's had some amazing happening. I just noticed you're on, Hardy. We've had several other people. You know, we can't keep track of it all. And I really don't care myself. I just want to see how people are feeling. And I know the healing is happening. You can see it in the face, in the body, the way that people act, move, talk before and after. They're different people. Personalities change. The light turns on. Everybody else sees us with this beaming light, and it's like, whoa, their soul is doing that. Physically, they don't know. Consciously, they don't know what's happening. And they're kind of attacking us because their soul is trying to go, wake up, guy, wake up, but they can't see it. It's a cloud. They can't pick up these senses from their soul. I wrote about that today. That's what we're seeing, folks. And we're being kind of attacked because of the light we're shining. They're looking at our matter state because we're skin and bones. That's not what they're seeing on the soul level. I'm looking on the soul level. Matter state don't matter, folks. It's the soul level you need to pay attention to. That's where everything is happening on the plasmatic side. So once we have this understanding and we know without a doubt, the confidence level goes up, wear clothes, don't see people as much, stay away from family and friends who don't understand, and do what you need to do to heal. And then when you start building and all that, look out. You know, it may take some people months to build after. Some people in 2-3 months they'll start putting on weight. Some people may take 6 or 8 months. We've had cases of 6 or 8 months to be able to start putting on weight. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And some people, 108 days, it may not happen after. They may have to do another fast because the problem is still not corrected, folks. I'm just throwing this out there. I haven't seen that yet, but it may happen because of the weakness in genetics and the levels of toxicity we're seeing in human race today. These things could happen. And that's why our tools are essential. Load up on herbs when you fast, not when you eat. That's where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. And anybody that's experienced can tell me if I'm lying. When you're eating, save your money for fasting times for herbs. You can use them sporadically to assist. What I found, this breakthrough is that herbs When you're eating, your body gets used to them and starts using them as foods. When you're fasting, it never uses them as foods, always as medicines. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? This is what I see and what I keep seeing in people. And if you're using our tinctures, the Master Fast tinctures, you're at a whole other level. You know, Peter's taking care of UK now, all of Europe. Try them, compare them with any other ones on the market. You'll know what we're talking about. We went through great lengths to make these very special. Through the process, we infuse them. But I almost cringe when people say, I have no money for herbs. It's cheaper than eating. So many people sent the feedback of how much money they saved on Master Fast System with tons of herbs. Us, it costs in this Toronto area approximately plus or minus $10 a day with anywhere from 9 to 12 herbs. The juice, the lemons, putting in the tea. That's average. When you dry fast, it's free. So we don't count those days. It's free. If you're using a small amount of herbs, what's it going to cost? A few cents or whatever. But I encourage, if you're going to go on a Master Fast, load up on herbs with at least 6 to 9 tinctures. The more problems, challenges you have, the more support you should use. It's only going to help you. I see the difference from people using our tinctures and people using their own purchased or whatever tinctures. There's a difference. I see it. I can see it. So, you know, you can make your own. It's wonderful and beautiful. You're going to save money as well. And we encourage that. We encourage it. That the issue is that, you know, we have specifically designed these kits for Master Fast. It works for 90% of the cases. Some cases we need to change a few tinctures or add a few. Not many is what I'm finding. The 12 covers pretty much most things. I rarely put people on more, but it does happen. I put people on 14, 15 tinctures because there's so many things going on. And we just want to support. We want support. And their herbs do their magic on Master Fast with support. They really do. They really, really do. So don't hold up on yourself. Invest in yourself on tinctures. You're not going to regret it. We've had a few cases that have pretended they went on Master Fast with no herbs, ordered their herbs after they've started their herbs, got back to me saying, yeah, man, there's a huge difference with the herbs. I wish I would have started with the herbs from the start. So, you know, we don't encourage you doing that experiment because of what happened and what could happen. Why risk? And, you know, you're not going to get as deep level. You're not going to get the support and the assistance from doing it with the herbs. It's two different things. That's why we say, you want to do a juice fast? Go to another page. We don't support that, especially with cooked juice. Just people don't understand the potency of that cooked juice. It's liquid Drano, folks, on cleansing. You can't compare it to raw juice. We don't even have a measurement how much stronger it is. It's that much stronger. One woman posted her pot that she couldn't clean. She made a tea batch with the juice instead of the water. It came out spotlessly clean. It's because she boiled the tea with her juice. It removed all the stains. This is what's happening in the body with that juice. If you do it with raw juice, it'll happen because you're cooking it. But I'm just saying the raw juice does not have the power. the understanding of the bringing it to higher order through the heat is misunderstood. And it's okay. It's okay. If you want to go raw, go raw. But we don't support that. We support raw eating when we go back to building. Yeah, we want to go back to raw. Eat raw. For cleansing, we want to use higher order, most potency, get rid of that gunk as quickly as possible with as least discomforts, because we're using the assistance of the herbs. And the pudding is so essential. Some people can't tolerate a large amount, but work your way from a small amount and work your way up. The more you can do, the more help that pudding is going to help draw and cleanse and neutralize the stuff that the fast has loosened up. The pudding is only absorbing the stuff that is loosened up, and the charcoal is doing the work on a plasmatic level. We know what charcoal is. They give it to you in hospitals when you've been poisoned. It neutralizes all toxins. And that's why they tell you not to take pharmaceuticals within a certain time period with charcoal, activated charcoal, because they won't work. The charcoal will neutralize them because they're toxic. You know, they're toxic. So we got all these tools. Any other questions? I've been blabbing too much.
Yeah, so Vic is ready to talk.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead, share, please. How are you?
I'm feeling pretty good. I still haven't really started eating yet. Today I had I was gonna coconut oil and basically do like the honey and the teas for a few days, maybe a week. But today I actually had 10 grapes just to try it out, just to see how the stomach was gonna feel. And you know, so far so good. You know, I like them. But everybody's right. When you start eating again, it's there's something missing, you know. It doesn't taste that good. And I think that's where the cravings come in, because you're constantly like chasing that feeling again. You're trying to get that satisfaction and you can't.
You need to satisfy the emotion, and you're going to do that with breath. In plasma science, we're hitting the emotion through our breath. We're teaching the same stuff as the yogis knew. The lungs is the gateway to emotion in the physicality. So you need that breath work. A must. Now, I'd be very, very easy on any oils, Father. Very easy. I don't recommend oils myself. Coconut oil is probably one of the easier ones to digest. Be very careful with oils, especially after a long fast. You know, I would go with steak. You would have even been doing green juices?
No, I wanted to stay away from the green juices. I just wanted to start eating fruits right away.
Are you still drinking the grape?
Huh?
You still drinking grape?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm doing mostly coconut water, and I'm still doing the teas and the tinctures. I'm basically doing everything, but I added coconut water and honey, and that's it. So,
okay, well, that's hey, coconut water, folks. People have done coconut water fasting for ages. You're not going to get a good cleanse from coconut water because it's more of a food. It's the liquid of a seed, right? And that's why a lot of people do these coconut water fasts and they don't lose any weight and everything. It's a food. You could live on coconuts probably forever, you know. But it's great. It's for breaking a fast. Yeah, coconut water, sure. Green juice. Get into the fruit eating. Don't be worried. Your first meals may feel uncomfortable, but start eating enough till you kind of feel satisfied in the stomach level, and just let the digestion happen. It may take a week or more to kick in. Some people it kicks in right away. Some people it takes a month to kick in. Don't worry about it. Take it easy. It'll come. It'll come. Everything will come in its own time. We're all different, but stay focused. Keep that breath work happening, especially if you have any cravings. The funny thing is, we start eating, we're not hungry, and we're eating, but we're still not hungry. And the mind is confused. So that's why we keep eating, because we're trying to satisfy something that we can't satisfy with food. You can't be satisfied, folks. The breath work will take in and balance you out. The food is not going to do it. Yeah, we need to eat. We need to start building. But try and pick the fruits that you love the most, or the greens, the salads, if you want to start getting into some of that, raw soups, green juices, whatever, whatever way you want to go is fine. The greens, some people get really strong craving for greens. And if you do, go that route because the body is asking for it, and go. Don't be okay with it. Chew very well, but keep the fruit as the staple. Keep the fruit as the staple. And trying to use the fruits or other foods that go through your system the fastest, the easiest for you. If it's like a cherry or a melon, watermelon, that's what we're looking for the first meals. We're not looking for nutrition in the first meals or ever, in my case, because it's a lie. We're looking for the meals to go through you the quickest, because during the fast, the body is in a strong elimination mode. Now we want to sweep out all the loosened stuff up from the fast and get it out as quickly as possible as we close the fast. So once you eat, the fast is closed. Pretty much, it's closed. The elimination mode is stopped. Right away, the body turns into a building mode. Right away, as soon as you eat. That's the time we want to clear the foods through quickly. That's how I want you guys to think. Nutrition, get it out of your minds. Doesn't exist. Field interaction, information. We're taking in information, body's using that information to build. They call it nutrition, vitamin A, B, C, D, mineral this and that. Has nothing to do with that. It's all field interaction. And the reason we're sick is our GI tract is completely plugged up. Those fields are going through that plaque, and that's the information we're getting interrupted from the plaque. That's the problem. And that's what we're fixing. We're trying to repair. The body's doing all the work. We're just assisting.
Going back to what you were saying at first with the oil, do you mean don't even oil pull, or because I don't intend
oil pulling's fine. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were taking it in internally.
No, I was just oil pulling for my teeth. Yeah, I don't intend to do any oils, any fats. I want to stay away from that whole thing.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood, Wally.
I remember, yeah.
Do get into tea pulling, folks. Tea pulling, I bet you, is better than oil pulling. The fields of the herbs pulling, because that's what we're doing. They're stronger gravitational-wise than the oils, I believe. It's okay. You can do both. You can do both.
Yeah, I got into the routine where I did oil pulling in the morning and afternoon, or in the evening, and then during the day I did the heal all tea pulling, and that actually helps.
Excellent.
And I saw someone actually heal their cavities from that, so I'm going to continue doing that.
Excellent. Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I wanted to go slow with the food. I just figured like a lot of coconut water and maybe the honey would kind of start digestion in a way, and it wouldn't be like the solid food, so it would kind of
honey is actually uses no digestion because it's in a high GAN state. The bees they've eaten it and they regurgitate it, right? That's what honey is. It's already in a GAN state. That's why it's in the Master Fast program as an option for people to use it. Or maple syrup. Maple syrup, what is it? It's cooked to death for hours and hours and hours. It's in a very high GANs plasmatic state. Takes almost no digestion. Doesn't shut down our fast. Isn't it amazing to have tools, folks? It's amazing. It's amazing, all the tools we have. You can make a pancake with your pudding with some maple syrup and eat that. At least we're enjoying something. We have all the tools. So another thing you can use for pulling is a little bit of water, a little bit of clay, a little bit of charcoal. And then you can even add some turmeric. And you can use that for pulling. Just give you a different option, folks. Different options. Add some essential oils.
I actually put that in my oil, in the coconut oil. Is that fine? I just do like a mixture. I do all those ingredients and the oil, and I just oil pull with that. And then when I do the tea, I just do the tea. But
Awesome.
Okay, perfect.
There you go. All these ideas always floating around in the ether.
Yeah.
I remember you were saying you want to do fruit diet mainly.
Yeah, I just want to do all fruit. I mean, since I'm in Florida too, you know, so the fruit's a little bit better than up north, and I have a papaya waiting. Like it's a fully ripe papaya, organic, you know, grown in my parents' yard. So I'm waiting.
Wow.
For, you know.
Awesome.
And, I got a couple trees going. I got a couple mango trees going, but they're babies. You know, that might be years by the time anything happens. And
hey, you start using some plasma water, you're gonna see how they grow.
yeah, I'm definitely going to start doing that. I just need to get some seawater, go down to the beach, you know, take a swim, get some bottles and get some seawater and start with the GANs and all that. Yeah, everything's good. Definitely. I'm happier. I feel a lot cleaner. You know, yeah, I got some weight I want to gain or whatever, but everything happened the way it did. And I love it. You know, everything happened the way it needed to.
So right here today we have Peter, we have Linda, we have Swavik, we have Artie. Who else did 108? Where was she?
She was Sandy.
Sandy, Rana, and myself. We all did 108. Radhika. I said, holy jeez. What a day. Holy man. Who would have ever thought there'd be so many crazy nuts wanting to go 108 days?
Can I just share?
Sure.
Hello there.
Be my guest.
Can you hear me, folks?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's getting quite late here in the UK. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the
You're cutting out, Peter.
You're cutting out.
I lose you. Can you hear okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sign off now. It's getting late here. My battery's getting low on my computer.
Okay.
But it's been a blast to share with you. And
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
definitely tune in again. Keep in touch. And remember, everybody, you know, we're up and selling them herbs in the UK and Europe. Anybody wants to put anybody our way, feel free. We want to support them.
All the info's on the website. So Peter's the guy for Europe.
Bless you all.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank
Bye, guys. Night.
Bye. So yeah, it's I can't believe how many of us have done 108 days. That's amazing. Pretty soon we're gonna have a whole board of 108 days. Like you think we're not affecting change? You bet we're affecting change on this planet. Look what's happening on our page, folks. It's going ballistic. It's going viral. First with the Aussie articles that turned me infamous, and Master Fast infamous, and then with Giovanni's interview with me and his story. He's got almost 5 million on his page. He said he called me. What was it? Yesterday I spoke to him for a few minutes. He goes, he's getting plastered with messages. He can't keep up. So we're in the process of expanding. We're going through growing pains. Website's being updated. A lot of things are happening. We're building a team. We're going to need more people who understand, who can guide people. It's only going to come through experience, though. I can see how people post and how they answer if they can help us, and that's why we have who we have on our team. It's the way they respond in helping people. You know, we got some serious cases on the Master Fast board, folks, and they need the correct information to assist them. You know, today I had the one fella who you know, had a breathing issue, and he went off back to the Morse clinic, and then he PM'd me again today. He's young, doesn't understand what's happening, is confused, is really overwhelmed and challenged by his situation, but he doesn't understand what's happening. He needs a helping hand. You can't jump into Master Fast with a situation like that and blame the system for your lifetime of destroying your body. It's a lack of understanding that I spoke to before. So these people really need our help 24 hours around the clock. And we have somebody pretty much around the clock now to be able to help somebody with good information as best we can. We don't have all the answers, but, you know, if what some of us suggest, you know, you can't get around to turning it around after you've done enemas and this and that, you go to ER. Don't have to be a hero. You go to ER. Go get stabilized. We're not stupid. They are there as a last resort, and we'll use them if we have to. Don't be a hero. For me, if it's me, I'm going ER. They ain't going to know what I'm doing. I ain't going to tell them. It's on a need-to-know basis. I went through ER with my dad many times. They didn't know a thing. Always snuck in herbs. Always gave him herbs. That's me, not telling what you guys to do. And I always got him out quickly, even after they killed him once for 10 minutes. So, you know, you guys are going to have to decide for your own physicality and your own experience what you're comfortable with. We can't do that for you. The risk of death is high, as it is in all forms of life that we experience. And, you know, people are dying all the time. You have to decide what you want to push yourself to. We can't do that for you. But what I can tell you is, if you understand what we're sharing, get an understanding of it, how the body can only see imbalance and balance, and only how the body can restore that balance. If you get that, and you understand what we've discussed and what we share about what we may go through, you're pushed through, and you'll get over the other side. And when you get over the other side, you're going to be a whole lot better. A whole lot better. There will be people who don't make it. And that's their experience. And we can only elevate their souls. But, you know, folks, from what I know and what I see, most people can be turned around if they make the choice and they commit. Most people will make it, you know, in the high 90s. They'll make it. It's just following and understanding what's happening. Anything else? Another rinse?
Somebody's asking, what's your opinion on expressing and suppressing emotions?
Expressing and suppressing. When we're not fasting, most people are suppressing emotion continuously. And this is the reflection we see in our societies and why people are so imbalanced. It's all goes back to emotion. So when we get on these fasts, these long fasts, I've seen so many people report to me that they now have courage to say things they've never been able to say before to people they love, family and friends, and so on and so forth. And it's because the stagnant areas in our body physically are from emotions. And they block us, so they can block you from able to speak what's on your mind. And when you fast, it clears it out. You can breathe and you can speak your mind with clarity. and you're going to experience some deep-rooted emotions that may be the what's causing some of your severe illnesses and imbalances, and you're going to have to embrace them and allow them to flow out, whether it's crying, speaking, screaming, whatever. Jump in an ocean, ground yourself, hug a tree, breath work. These are ways to bring balance back. Just some of them. Just some of them. I've shared a video on how to ground your bed at night. Cheap way with a copper wire and a plug. Get an electrician to help you, so you're always grounded to Mother Earth. It'll help you. You know, punching bag. Any other ideas? Breath is big. Enemas. Enemas, even for emotion. I missed that one, is important. Any crazy emotion, crying, get your enema bag. Go give yourself an enema. Go for a colonic. Breath work while you're doing the colonic or enema. What else is coming to mind?
For emotions?
Yeah, sometimes the herbal tea, tinctures will do it.
Deep breathing. Or the breaths.
That's
the breath work.
yeah, lots of things. You know, I feel like jumping in the lake. I have it's I think it's 0 degrees here today. It's -1 or 2. I don't know. But yeah, that's another way. You know, jump in cold water, cold shower. Lots of ways. Lots of ways. Maybe different for different people. You're gonna have to try different ways. But there's lots of ways. The key that we remember is stagnation is disease, which brings imbalance. The universe is always in motion. So anything you feel, pain, blockage, is something we need to work on moving. As soon as it moves, you will feel better because the balance is restored. You got a stiff neck, you know, you're imbalanced. You're imbalanced. You have to work it out. Kidneys, lymph massage, a little bit of rebounding, movement, yoga, breath, again, so many things, so many things. Rebounding, exercise, we don't have to do vigorous, especially if we're not filtering, no vigorous. Rebounding, don't leave the mat if you're not filtering. But move, 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 move. I have a rebounder. I haven't used since I went to Italy. I pretty much stopped using it. Only use it maybe half a dozen times. I used to use it every single day, 18 minutes. Too many things to do. I got to get back. Yeah, folks. So we're running out of time here. 5 minutes too. Anything else? Anybody else? That's it. We can call it a close. Amazing, amazing, amazing. How many 108s today? Wow. Samantha, how many days did you do? I think you were up there.
60 something. Unmute.
You have to unmute.
I only got up to about 63.
Only, yeah. Well, that's a good.
Well, yeah, I was, I don't know how far I was going to go, but it was right before the accident. So we were thrust into a situation that wouldn't, you know. So I had good intentions to keep going, but it was a little bit difficult. So.
Yeah, day 63 is awesome, man. Awesome. Lots of things happen in 63 days, as you know.
Yeah, I was very happy with the results. So this time I'm going for 108.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah.
No stopping me. No stopping me. The kids wanted me to talk, so thank you for asking me a question.
You said at least 110.
110, yeah, 110.
All right, we have Rebecca. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Hi, hello everybody. Yeah, I'm Becky actually, but Rebecca's. Anyway, yeah, I just did 63 days this time, and
wow. Nice.
Stopped last Sunday, I believe, and I have lost or dropped about 25 pounds of toxic waste. And I wasn't very large to begin with, so I'm one of those skeletons right now. But what I always knew that the left side of my body was larger than the right side. Now you can really see my left rib cage sticks forward. Everything's out of balance. So I look forward to that realigning, and I know it's going to. But
everything's possible. You've broken your 63 days?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I was getting extremely weak and caved into a little peer pressure of, okay, but I plan on, you know, stopping for a while and coming back. I was running low on herbs too, and I'm still trying to, I want to communicate with you on the best ones to get for my needs and get them ordered and ready to take off again. So
we have it was Michelle, her hips were way out of whack, and they were still out of whack after 108 days, and she took a while to gain weight, and they were still out of whack, and then slowly they started coming together. I just spoke with her the other day, and she says she's got pretty much no pain from them. They're pretty much aligned now. So after, you know, the body does a lot of changes even after. Still continuous. I already can tell you that. It's continual. When you make a lifestyle change, it doesn't stop with a fast. The fast is just scratching the start. That's all it is. And then we continue with our next one. We plan in a few months or whenever you're ready. Emotion is key to be ready emotionally for your next one. I just came off 35 days of a master fast, and I took a 2-week break, I think it was. And now I'm on my day 9, starting my day 9 dry. So, you know, I'm on and off. Will I do another long one? I don't know where I'm at. I just go on and off now. Whatever. Just go by emotion. When you know, you'll know when, oh, I need to fast. But never, ever, ever stop your dry. Those are your resets when you're eating. Always keep your dry schedules. Always, at least 1 or 2 days a week, get up to that. And your dry window, even if it's fluctuating, always try and do at least that 12, 13 hours a day dry. Always. And you'll be better off.
I was always amazed to see what was going to come out of me at the end of a dry fast, because it was something different every time.
It's just, where does this stuff come from?
I know. That's what my colonics therapist is actually a friend of mine, and she's joined the group and she's considering jumping on board. She's been studying it, but she's like, I can't believe this. I've never seen anything like it before. It's like,
because there hasn't been anything like it that I've seen.
This is how I found out about the master fast. I had a client who is Gino's friend, and he was doing his 40-day master fast. I saw what came out of him. I was like, what are you doing? Tell me what you're doing. And then he told me, oh, it's Gino. He always told me about Gino. But, you know, we never met. And then, because Gino used to do raw food and I was doing raw food, so he always told me, you have to meet Gino. So anyways, this is how I was like, give me his information now.
Yeah. It's really funny because I experienced the taste of the power of cooked juice in 1990. I've explained this many times. But after all that happened and everything, and the years of pain and suffering and so on and so forth, then going into the raw foods, I was blocked like everybody else. Raw is law. I completely put it out of my mind, the power that cooked juice had. I was doing so many long raw juice fasts of fruit juices, master cleanses, green juices, wheatgrass to oblivion. I think I did more than anybody. I used to drink 12 to 18 ounces a day for 2 years. You know, up the butt, I've taken wheatgrass instead of limit. You know, and it plateaued. After 2 years, I reached the almost 2 years limit. It plateaued. It wouldn't give me any more benefit. So I cut way back and I didn't see any difference. So, you know, it was magical the way things happen, the way the universe works to bring the information back. And when it came back, the light just lit up brighter than 1,999 million suns. Holy jeez! Cooked juice.
Well, I did. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I did 4 years fruit. I lived on watermelon for 4 summers, and
wow.
And I reached that high of I couldn't go any higher, and I didn't. I did. I felt good. I had so much energy, but no, obviously, until you do Master Fast, you don't get rid of anything. I did have some things heal though. I lost fingernails and I was doing that. But what's happening with me now that I'm really excited about is I've had the red moles on my body. My mother had them. I have them. They're drying up, falling off. I've got brown moles that are drying up, disappearing, or just fading. They're getting lighter and lighter. So, yeah, I've done a lot of cleaning, but I've still got more to go. So
it's awesome that you shared that, Becky, because we are conveying the message. You're not going to do it through addition, the healing, only through subtraction. I don't care what fruits, what quality, how much, ain't going to happen. We've all been down these roads. I'm so glad you shared that. And watermelon is pretty aggressive as a fruit. For 4 years, you're still full of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
And I've never absorbed my nutrition my entire life, I know. And so it's going to be.
I feel sorry for the people that think they have to go to raw juice because they're not going to get the results we're getting, folks. We've all done that. We've all done that. So they just, need to take those blinders off because they don't know. They just don't have an understanding of what we're doing. They just don't get the information, and it's okay, but it's sad that they are stuck the way we all were in that Ra's law nature thing. We can't solve nature's problems with nature because we don't have nature's problems anymore. Man has gone out of nature's bounds and put in our bodies things that are not natural. This is what people have missed, and that's why Master Fast shines like no other. It's a glorified dry fast that we can go long. That's the key. And clean thoroughly.
Another thing that I've hit, I'm sorry, but another thing that prior to, now I did do about 20 days the end of the year, November and December. I did around 20 days. I'm not good at record keeping. I just like to live with.
Master Fast?
Master Fast, yes.
Oh, okay.
And then January the 10th, I said, okay, I'm jumping in again and set some goals. And I had a goal of 40. And when I got to 40, I was like, why quit? And then, it just kept adding on to it. But I had a root canal tooth that was giving me lots of trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to save the tooth. I lost so many teeth in my head from my pituitary not working. I didn't grow. My mouth was not wide enough. They pulled half my teeth and put braces on me. And then I got my braces off. The day I got them off, the orthodontist says, oh, you've got to have your wisdom teeth out. So all the work that I did with that just came undone. And now I have such a horrible overbite that it's like I can't lose another tooth if I can save them.
Yeah, the big challenge, Becky, is when they do root canals, the tooth is dead tissue.
Right, exactly.
That's the challenge. Does it bother you? Does it hurt?
It was hurting, but it's 95% not hurting.
Okay. Massage the gum every day, all your gums, clove oil. Are you making any GANS materials?
I haven't yet, but I need to do that.
Yeah,
definitely.
You can start making some CO2 GANs and you rinse with that. Do your tea pulling, all that, so you can get energy moving out of that area. Because when there's a dead tissue in the area, things can be stagnant. So you have to keep it moving. You may be able to keep the tooth, but when it's dead tissue, it's more of a challenge. That's the problem.
Yeah, I've already had one removed and the bone scraped, and I have a gaping hole there, and it's on the same side, and it's hard to chew as it is. So
yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It's sad we've all been butchered. You know, I had 5 fillings done in grade school. When we were growing up here in Toronto, they used to do free dental work in grade school. So I had all 5 done back then. Who knows what they were doing? I don't know. I never had any more fillings after that. But I'm just saying it was a money-making scheme. And, you know, I had to deal with those. I had to remove them all in the 90s, all the mercury and stuff. One of them was so bad, they wanted to do a root canal. I kept saying, no, no, no. And they finally said, well, we can only put a cap. I said, put the cap. That tooth gave me problems for years. I still have it. No more pain. So you have to work with it. I destroyed my teeth after. That's another story. But I kept that one tooth. I have all my teeth still.
well, that's what the pain is gone from that one, and it was really bothering me and had for quite a while. So, you know, just occasionally I feel a little something, but
olive oil, peppermint oil will help close better, and some neem oil. Do you have an ozone generator?
No.
No. Okay, so if you had that, you can rinse with ozonated water or hydrogen peroxide.
No, yeah, peroxide.
Do that. We have the tooth file. I'm not one to talk about teeth. I destroyed mine. Not with sweet fruit. I told you guys a story. The high fats destroyed mine. And if you understand that, you understand why. Plugs up your lymph. Acids can't move out. Destroy. It's all the opposite of what we've been told. Fruit doesn't destroy your teeth. When I went back on fruit, boy, oh boy, oh boy, I had pain for 6-7 months on all my teeth.
Wow.
The mind played games with me because of all the pain I had, and then it all went away. Will I restore the enamel? I don't know. All the enamel's gone, but anyway, I learned my lesson. Work with all the different tools. Even the burnt stick, you can massage even inside. Get some stuff. The charcoal and clay. We were talking about doing that as a rinse. Just try and help it as much as you can. If at the end of the day you got to pull it, you got to pull it. But do your best to save it. Do your best to save it. The issue is never ever get any root canals again.
No.
Yeah, I never did. That was one thing. I was fortunate. I think Artie had some root canals pulled out, right? Yeah, it's a challenge when you got dead tissue. You do the best you can.
Yeah, I had it removed 2 years ago, I think. And it was always bothering me a little bit. When I removed it, it was like really, I felt it, you know, it's no more irritation, no more inflammation in that area. Yeah, so it's much cleaner for sure.
Yeah. I had one wisdom teeth. I only had 2. I never grew 4. I only had 2. One was really bothering me. There was a hole in it when I was in Italy. I didn't really want to pull it, but it was bothering me. So one night, my friend Max, I gave him a pair of vice grips, and he yanked it out for me. It was a bit loose, so on the second try, the first one, oh man, it slipped. So on the next one, we got it out. So I saved myself a couple of $200-300 for pulling a wisdom tooth. Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, if anybody else, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for sharing, guys. This is what we want.
Thank you, everybody.
It's amazing, amazing, amazing night. Beautiful. Beautiful. Joanne, Andre, Eugene, everybody else, Kelly, Radhika, John,
thank you, everybody.
Danielle, Slavik, Linda Storms, Linda, Maris, Artie, Matthew, not available, MJ, Stephen Eagles. We're gonna be enforcing. We want to know who's on the calls. If you don't want to share your photo before we start recording, you're gonna have to introduce yourself. We're gonna cut you off. There's nothing to hide, folks. I'm an open book. I'm all over the place on the planet now, especially in Australia. So, you know, if you got something to hide, we don't want you here. No reason to hide anything. You know, if we know who you are, we know who you are. Like I said, if you want to just introduce yourself, you don't want to be on the recording, you do a fast introduction, and then we'll start the recording. I have no issue with that. But we want to know who you are. That's all we ask. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys. Have a great one.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye, Gino. Bye, Rana.
Bye, Linda.